Hey coin collectors, it's DC on the Big D, and it's a 1952 Washington quarter, one of the old silver quarters that they had before 1965. These quarters in this $50 in the mint set or the proof set for 1952, you are going to have huge money. It says Liberty at the top. In God We Trust under his chin, 1952 right here, and there's no mint mark here, and that's because in 1952 the mint marks were on the back right down here. So here's another 1952 here. Look at the worn edges on that. When we look at these coins, the first thing we need to remember is that these are silver, 90% silver, 10% copper, and what that means is sometimes the silver value exceeds the collector's value. And when that happens, you go with the silver value. In other words, if it's worth more than in silver than it is worth for a collector to buy, you go with the silver value. So when you look at these coins, they're frequently going to be listed as $5. The silver value is $4+. There's a little premium on them, and then you get up to the $5. Let's look at the side first, and you can tell by looking at the side that little tiny hints of orange from here, and a little tiny hint of copper. And you know what that's from? That's from the 10% copper that's in there. But the 90% silver is really what you see. On the back of it, you see it says United States of America, E Pluribus Unum. Right here we have the eagle. And when we look at these for condition, we look at, start with the feathers down here, and there are none. The E Pluribus Unum, there's a dot there. We can't even see that. We get down here and we see there's an olive branch, and it's supposed to be the tail of the eagle's feathers. Eagle's tail feathers come down here. You can kind of tell that they're there. And then there's a ribbon that crosses here in the sheaf of arrows. So there's the arrowhead. There's the feathers on the arrow. Not great shape there. And then the D is there for the Denver Mint. At the Denver Mint in 1952, they made $49.79 million. At the Philadelphia Mint, which this one is, we turn this over, and you can tell this is the Philadelphia Mint because why? Because there's no mint mark there. The Philadelphia Mint in 1952, they made $38.8 million. So between the two mints, they made less than 100 million of these quarters, and they're still not very valuable. So not much more than silver value, certainly for one that's in this condition, unless there's something special about it. Well, what would be special about it? Not really a whole lot in terms of this particular one. But if you get a really spectacular one, like this one from the Philadelphia Mint, you see that you could get up into the thousands of dollars. $4,600 is the highest auction price ever sold by one from the Philadelphia Mint. You can see this is a Mint State 67 plus. If you get to the San Francisco Mint, and that'll be the one with the S on it down here, you can see that it gets up to $15,525, and that's for a Mint State 68. And then at the Denver Mint, they found a Mint State 67 plus that somebody just loved, and they were willing to pay $21,150 in 2019 at a Legends Rare Coins auction. So don't dismiss these coins if they're in incredible shape, but it's going to be very hard to get them in that kind of shape. The other thing is that you always want to go and look at the current value. So if we look at the current value at the PCGS, even though there's an auction value of $21,000, let's make sure we go somewhere and confirm that. And we'll see that the current value for 67 plus is about $8,000 because they found 10 of them. So even though there's an auction sale of $21,000, make sure you go to the current values. And the other thing is that this might be some kind of special, something that somebody wants with this particular patina on it. All right, well, let's get back to our coins. So if you're trying to figure out the most valuable 1952, unless you get it in incredible shape, you're not going to get much money out of it. Now, how much is not much money? Well, that's an interesting idea. If you got this coin right here in a almost uncirculated condition, you'd only get up to $8. In an MS-60, you'd only get up to $8 or $9. You have to get up to MS-65 before you get into the 20s on these. However, there is one way to get these for huge money. Why do I have this one? Well, this, of course, is the Franklin half. In 1952, the $50 was the Franklin half. It had come out in 1948, I believe, possibly on the it's 200th birthday of Ben Franklin. It says Liberty at the top, 1952 here, In God We Trust here. We tip it up, we see this one's silver also. So this is worth about $12, $10 to $12 just in silver. Turn it over, United States of America. There's the mint mark there. And notice that D is the same size as this D. Even though it's a bigger coin, they use the same size for the mint mark. On this side it says E Pluribus Unum. We have the cracked Liberty Bell. Over here we have the War Eagle, and you can kind of see the tail feathers there. There's the bell clap, I guess they call it. And down here it says $50. Why do I want to show you this one? Well, for a very simple reason, and that is if you can get this quarter in these quarters in this $50 in the mint set or the proof set for 1952, then you're going to have huge money. And this is one of those inverted mint set, proof set relationships. So in the proof set, you would have the quarters. You would have the quarter. You would have the $50. You would have the dime, the nickel, and the penny. And if you get a proof set for 1952, it is worth $250. And I said, but it's inverted. What do I mean by inverted? If you get the uncirculated mint set from 1952, the PDS mint set, they only made 11,500 of them. It's worth $900. An uncirculated set from 1952, I'm going to say it again, it's worth $900. It has a face value of $5.46. Why is that? Well, it's only the 5th year of the uncirculated sets. The issue price was $6.14, which is a lot back then. People they didn't make many, and people didn't buy many. So they're hard to find. And the ones that have been found, they often will take the coins out to try to get more money for them. And it turns out, leave these 1952s in the set. If you can get a good one, it could be worth $1,000 to $1,500 in a really good set. Because what happens is, even in the mint sets, in the proof sets, the uncirculated mint sets and the proof sets, these get tarnished. All right, well, that's all we have for today from DC, standing in for the Big D. And we'd love to have you subscribe to the Big D Coin channel. Leave any comments you might have in the comments section.